Hello everyone. Welcome to our session on Aids to Health for Class 9 Biology. Today, we are diving into a fascinating topic, active immunity. Have you ever wondered how your body remembers to fight off a sickness it's already had? Or how vaccines protect you? We'll explore how your body builds its own defenses, starting with the basics and moving to advanced concepts. Get ready for an exciting journey through the world of immunity. Let's begin our exploration at the easy level. We'll uncover the fundamental ideas behind how your body protects itself. Your body is equipped with an incredible natural defense system, much like a protective shield, known as immunity. This immunity is what keeps you healthy by fighting off various germs, also called pathogens, such as bacteria and viruses that constantly try to invade. When these invaders enter, your immune system springs into action. It works tirelessly to identify, target, and eliminate them. The remarkable part is, if your body encounters a germ it has seen before, it often remembers it. This memory allows it to fight off the infection much faster and more efficiently the next time around. This ability to both fight and remember is absolutely crucial for your well-being. And active immunity is one of the most powerful forms of this sophisticated defense system. So, what exactly is active immunity? Simply put, active immunity means your own body is doing the heavy lifting. It's actively creating the specific tools needed to fight off germs. Think of it like your body's personal training program, where it learns how to defeat a particular illness. This learning process typically happens in one of two ways, either when you naturally get sick and your body battles the infection, or when you receive a vaccine. Once your body has gone through this learning phase, it develops a long-lasting memory of that germ. This memory can last for many years, sometimes even for your entire life. For instance, if you've had chicken pox, your body usually won't get it again because it has developed active immunity, remembering exactly how to fight off that specific virus. Now, let's test your understanding with a few quick questions. First, in your own words, what is the main idea behind active immunity? Second, can you give one example of how a person can get active immunity naturally, without a vaccine? And third, how is active immunity different from just having a temporary shield or protection against germs? Take a moment to think about these. Your answers will help solidify your grasp of these foundational concepts. Ready to dive a bit deeper? At the medium level, we'll explore the how and why of active immunity, distinguishing between its different forms. Active immunity is a remarkable biological process where your immune system doesn't just react, it proactively develops its own arsenal. This involves producing specialized proteins called antibodies, which are like targeted missiles designed to identify and neutralize specific invaders. More importantly, your body also forms memory cells. These are highly specialized cells that act as a long-term database, remembering the specific germ they encountered. This memory is key because it allows for a much quicker and more potent response if that same germ tries to invade again in the future. This type of immunity provides robust, long-lasting protection against a wide range of diseases. Crucially, unlike passive immunity where you receive pre-made antibodies, active immunity requires your body to actively participate in building its own defenses, making the protection much more enduring. Active immunity can be acquired in two distinct ways, naturally or artificially. Natural active immunity occurs when you are exposed to a pathogen and actually experience the illness. For example, if you catch measles, your body fights the infection, produces antibodies specific to the measles virus, and forms memory cells. After you recover, you are naturally immune to measles. Artificial active immunity, on the other hand, is achieved through vaccination. Vaccines introduce a weakened, inactivated, or partial form of a pathogen into your body. This trick prompts your immune system to produce antibodies and memory cells without you ever getting sick from the disease itself. It's like a training exercise for your immune system. So, while both lead to active immunity, one involves getting sick, and the other safely simulates an infection. The key features of active immunity highlight its effectiveness. Firstly, it offers long-lasting protection, often for many years or even a lifetime, thanks to those persistent memory cells. Secondly, this immunological memory ensures that upon subsequent exposure, your body mounts a rapid and strong secondary response, typically preventing you from getting sick again. Thirdly, active immunity is highly specific. The antibodies and memory cells created are tailored precisely to the pathogen that triggered them. This specificity allows for precise targeting. Fourthly, its primary benefit is preventing future infections, safeguarding individuals from recurring diseases. Finally, on a broader scale, widespread vaccination leading to artificial active immunity contributes significantly to herd immunity, a critical public health concept where enough people are immune to protect the entire community, including those who cannot be vaccinated. The active involvement of your body makes this defense system incredibly robust and adaptable. Let's move on to some medium-level practice questions. First, define active immunity in your own words, explaining its core principle. Second, explain the difference between natural active immunity and artificial active immunity, providing a clear example for each. Third, what is the crucial role of memory cells in providing long-lasting active immunity? Fourth, why are vaccines considered a form of active immunity rather than passive? And finally, list 2 significant benefits that individuals gain from having active immunity. Think critically about these to deepen your understanding. Now, let's elevate our understanding to the hard level. We'll delve into the intricate cellular and molecular mechanisms that underpin active immunity. The journey of an active immune response begins when your immune system encounters foreign substances known as antigens. These antigens could be components of bacteria, viruses, or other pathogens. Specialized cells called antigen-presenting cells, or APCs, such as macrophages and dendritic cells, play a vital role here. They engulf the pathogens, break them down, and then display fragments of these antigens on their surface. This presentation is like a most wanted poster for other immune cells. Helper T cells, a type of white blood cell, then recognize these presented antigens. Once activated, these helper T cells become crucial orchestrators, stimulating B cells to produce highly specific antibodies and also activating cytotoxic T cells, which are the body's direct assassins for infected cells. Critically, a significant outcome of this process is the formation of memory B and T cells, which are the cornerstone of long-term protection. Understanding the timing and strength of immune responses is key, distinguishing between the primary and secondary responses. The primary response occurs during your very first encounter with a specific antigen. It's generally slower to develop, often taking several days, and the initial antibody levels are relatively lower. During this phase, your immune system is essentially learning. Naive B and T cells are activated, proliferate, and differentiate into effector cells that fight the current infection, as well as a pool of memory cells. In contrast, the secondary response happens upon any subsequent exposure to the same antigen. This response is dramatically faster, much stronger, and more prolonged. Thanks to the pre-existing memory cells, they rapidly recognize the antigen, multiply quickly, and produce a significantly higher concentration of antibodies. This swift and potent reaction is usually powerful enough to prevent the disease from even developing, offering robust protection. Vaccines are remarkable tools designed to safely induce active immunity, and they come in various types, each with a distinct approach. Live-attenuated vaccines, like those for MMR or chickenpox, use a weakened, but still living, form of the pathogen. They replicate in your body, providing a strong, long-lasting immune response, mimicking a natural infection without causing severe disease. Inactivated vaccines, such as for polio or hepatitis A, use pathogens that have been killed. They cannot replicate, making them very safe, but often require multiple doses and boosters for sustained immunity. Subunit vaccines, like for hepatitis B, utilize only specific antigenic parts of the pathogen rather than the whole germ, making them extremely safe. Toxoid vaccines, exemplified by tetanus and diphtheria shots, use inactivated toxins produced by bacteria. They train your immune system to neutralize these harmful toxins, not necessarily the bacteria themselves. More recently, mRNA vaccines, like some for COVID-19, deliver genetic instructions that prompt your own cells to produce the antigen, triggering a powerful immune response. Each vaccine type is a testament to scientific ingenuity, aiming to safely prime your immune system to generate lasting memory. Now for some hard-level practice questions to challenge your knowledge. First, describe the initial steps of an active immune response when your body first encounters a new pathogen. Second, compare and contrast the primary and secondary immune responses, focusing on their speed, strength, and duration. Third, name 3 different types of vaccines and briefly explain the mechanism by which each type works to induce active immunity. Fourth, explain the concept of antigen presentation and its critical importance in activating T cells during an active immune response. Fifth, how do memory B cells specifically contribute to the enhanced effectiveness of a secondary immune response? Sixth, discuss both the advantages and potential disadvantages of using live-attenuated vaccines. And finally, what is herd immunity, and how does individual active immunity contribute to this broader public health concept? Take your time to formulate detailed answers. Welcome to the hardest level. Here, we will dissect the sophisticated cellular and molecular events of active immunity, exploring its competitive depth and broader implications. Active immunity is a complex symphony involving 2 interconnected arms, humoral and cellular immunity. Humoral immunity, primarily driven by B lymphocytes, focuses on extracellular threats. B cells, upon activation, differentiate into plasma cells that secrete antibodies. These antibodies circulate in the blood and lymph, neutralizing pathogens before they can infect cells, opsonizing them for phagocytic destruction, or activating the complement system. This arm is crucial for combating bacterial infections and circulating viruses. Cellular immunity, on the other hand, is mediated by T lymphocytes and targets intracellular threats. Cytotoxic T cells, or CD8 plus T cells, recognize and kill host cells that are infected with viruses or intracellular bacteria, identifying pathogen-derived antigens presented on MHC class I molecules. Helper T cells, CD4 plus T cells, act as the central conductors, recognizing antigens on MHC class II molecules and secreting cytokines that orchestrate the activation and differentiation of B cells, cytotoxic T cells, and other immune cells, ensuring a coordinated and effective response. The hallmark of adaptive immunity, immunological memory, provides long-term protection through specialized, persistent lymphocyte populations. Memory B cells, which can survive for decades, express high-affinity antibodies on their surface. Upon re-exposure to an antigen, they rapidly activate, proliferate, and differentiate into plasma cells, undergoing further affinity maturation to produce even more potent antibodies. Memory T cells are a heterogeneous group, including central memory T cells, TCM, and effector memory T cells, TEM. TCMs reside in lymphoid organs, possessing a high proliferative capacity and the ability to differentiate into various effector T cell subsets upon restimulation. TEMs, conversely, patrol peripheral tissues and rapidly acquire effector functions upon antigen re-encounter, providing immediate protection at potential sites of infection. Additionally, a crucial, often overlooked component is the subset of long-lived plasma cells that migrate to survival niches, such as the bone marrow, where they continuously secrete low levels of antibodies for years, providing an immediate, baseline defense even before memory B and T cells are fully activated. Vaccine development is a sophisticated exercise in immunological engineering, aiming to safely and effectively elicit robust, long-lasting active immunity. This involves strategic design choices to optimize antigen presentation and immune activation. Adjuvants, for instance, are substances often included in vaccines to enhance the immune response. They achieve this by creating an antigen depot, promoting the uptake and presentation of antigens by APCs, and activating innate immune pathways through pattern recognition receptors, thereby shaping the quality and magnitude of the adaptive response. The route of administration also significantly influences the type and strength of the immune response generated. Furthermore, novel vaccine platforms, such as mRNA vaccines, represent a paradigm shift. They deliver genetic material that instructs the host's own cells to synthesize the target antigen. This endogenous production allows for effective antigen presentation via both MHC class I and MHC class II pathways, stimulating both CD8+ cytotoxic T cells and CD4+ helper T cells, leading to a comprehensive humoral and cellular immune response. Challenges in vaccine engineering include achieving broad protection against highly variable pathogens and ensuring safety and efficacy across diverse populations. The widespread implementation of active immunity through vaccination has had a transformative societal impact, leading to the global eradication of diseases like smallpox and the near elimination of polio. A critical concept linked to this is herd immunity. This phenomenon occurs when a sufficient proportion of a population becomes immune to an infectious disease, typically through vaccination or prior infection. This collective immunity significantly reduces the pathogen's ability to spread, thereby indirectly protecting susceptible individuals who cannot be vaccinated, such as infants, the elderly, or those with compromised immune systems. Beyond pathogen defense, the immune system also maintains immune tolerance, a vital mechanism that prevents it from mistakenly attacking the body's own self-antigens. Failures in this intricate tolerance system can lead to autoimmune diseases, where the immune system targets the body's own tissues. Understanding and harnessing the principles of active immunity, therefore, remains central to modern medicine, public health strategies, and ongoing research into immune-mediated disorders. Let's tackle some challenging questions. First, elaborate on the distinct roles of humoral and cellular immunity in an active immune response, providing examples of pathogens or situations each branch primarily targets. Second, detail the specific characteristics and functions of memory B cells, central memory T cells, and effector memory T cells in maintaining long-term immunological memory. Third, discuss the immunological principles behind vaccine adjuvants and their significance in enhancing the efficacy of subunit or inactivated vaccines. Fourth, compare the mechanism of action of mRNA vaccines with traditional inactivated vaccines in terms of antigen presentation and the types of immune activation they primarily induce. And fifth, explain the concept of clonal selection in the context of B-cell activation during a primary active immune response. Continuing with our hardest level questions. Sixth, analyze the public health implications of a decline in vaccination rates, specifically referencing the concept of herd immunity. Seventh, describe how the immune system typically maintains immune tolerance to self-antigens and what happens when this tolerance fails. Eighth, from an immunological engineering perspective, what are the key considerations and challenges in designing a vaccine against a highly mutable virus like influenza? Ninth, discuss the role of MHC class I and MHC class II molecules in presenting antigens and activating different subsets of T lymphocytes during an active infection. And 10th, beyond antibody production, what other effector mechanisms are employed by the adaptive immune system to clear pathogens once active immunity has been established? These questions require a comprehensive understanding of the topic. That brings us to the end of our deep dive into active immunity. From understanding how your body learns to fight sickness at a basic level, to exploring the complex cellular mechanisms, vaccine engineering, and societal impact, we've covered a vast and fascinating area of biology. Remember, active immunity is a cornerstone of your body's defense and modern medicine. For more engaging and in-depth educational content like this, make sure to visit synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for regular updates and more amazing lessons. Keep learning and stay curious.